Shallow to shallow. This is Tico, play from the couch conversation. Tico, play from the couch conversation. Tico, play from the couch conversation show. This what I'm gonna do, right? Since this woman always running off at her mouth, I'm going to have her on my live. Cause she over there saying that it's going to take me another 2 hours being around here because I didn't jump on my live. I'm not trying to stay on my live this long, but no, I just wanted to come on and play y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all, I love when my clients, like, following the rules, because that's how I look to see, like, you turning things around to be more responsible and more productive. Because by this being like transitional, the whole goal is not to keep you forever. And I want the best for the people that, I work with. And it's not just the people I work with, but if you reach out to me and you need help, my goal is to get you the proper help that you need. And some people take things for granted. Oh, I was messing with my son because my son said he had jury duty today. So I was like, wow. But anyway, I don't know, y'all. I done had an amazing time over at 1631, talking with my people and everything, and talking about just life on life term stuff. And I love it. I love it because I feel like this. If you want to get better, and you sign up for somebody's housing program, right? Take the suggestions. You don't have to fight. You do not have to fuss with nobody. And to be truthful with you, if you got to sign up for programs to help you turn the quality of your life around, my thing is you don't want to argue with that. Because mainly we have the best interests of the clients. So you don't have to buck. You don't have to fight. And I know some people do. But the whole thing is you got to make people comfortable. You got to make them comfortable where they don't, I don't know. Just go knock one of them and say, I forgot. Ooh, where my keys? You got to make them comfortable. Here you go, in case it's locked. Make sure you bring my keys back. There you go. It's one of these, the silver ones. Yeah, it's one of those. I'm at 1629 right now. And the house that I have niggas through is 1631. And we over there, man, we had a beautiful time. Just talking a little bit about everything. Spiritual growth. And that's one of the things with me, y'all. And it's not to knock nobody. Don't get it wrong. But a lot of us, as far as Christian people, the more you get into the word and you reading stories, you reading about, I'm gonna say like Mark, Luke, John, you reading their stories. And the only thing they doing is sharing their experience with us during the time that I'm gonna say they was with Christ, because this is the New Testament, right? And every time I say that word like testament, it's just giving people like your testimony, or you sharing your experience, strengths, and hopes with people. So when it say testament, and I'm looking at the Old Testament, and for me, the way I see it is that's how my old behavior used to be. when I look at the Old Testament. And then when I look at now, how I'm living and doing things, it's the New Testament now. So basically, I'm giving you my new testimony. This is how I used to be. This is how I am now. I don't know how many people might see it, because to me, it's like the Bible teaches me how to live by some morals, values, and principles. Now, I see it as, trying to build, because you're looking for the spiritual principles within it. So you trying to build a better character about yourself. And this is what I was sharing with them tonight, y'all. And we talking about the devil. Now, if you really understand, if God tell you to do something and you do the opposite, you rebelled against him. So when I look at like Satan, he rebelled. When I look at like Adam, he rebelled. But you know what we have a tendency of doing? We want to make them out to be monsters. But it's talking about your personality. It's talking about your character. So basically, when you look at yourself, you got a good side. And you had that side that want to be like angry, evil, nasty, mean, hateful. And that's just talking about the negative side of the human being. Did I miss you? Did you miss it? So when I when I look at scripture and I look at old, it just take me back to the old way I used to do things. Right? Get my keys, boy. Trying to steal my keys. What's your problem? No, he took it next door and washed it. And that's what we was talking about. And I was sharing with them to help them understand, right, that basically, hey, Sharon, basically, you talking about the personality. And I'm trying to find the words, right, to help you to understand that, we got that. And I don't want to make it sound demonic or anything, right? When you look at, and I'm going to just say Lucifer, right? The morning star. And then when you look at how, he was second in command. And as you read up on him, you talk about how beautiful he was, personality, stuff like that. Because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I'm not trying to talk against nothing scripture talks about. I'm only sharing from what the Holy Spirit began to show me. So we over there talking, and the snake that was in the garden that came up to talk to Eve, I believe that was Lilith. I believe that was Lilith. If y'all ever heard of Lilith, I don't think it was an original snake. I think it was Lilith. And if you read in Genesis first chapter, around about 26, 27, and it talks about how God said, let us create man in our own image, in our own likeness. So when God created man, he created him, and then he created her. They came from the same dirt. They was created from the same dirt. And I'm talking about Adam and Lilith. So we talking because when you get into the second chapter, and God talks about how he put Adam back to sleep and created the woman from his rib. So it's two accounts. Now, mind you, I ain't understand none of this early on. But as I begin to grow, God began to show me things. Now, Am I 100% sure? No. But what I'm reading and what I'm studying, it's like you got to believe to a sense that it's true. And it might not, certain things might not be legit. Because when you read into, they don't talk about Lillian. But Isaiah talks about her. He mentioned her, right? So they don't really talk about her. And then she's considered as a Jewish myth. But now I understand the myth part, but you can read up about her. So now it's a Jewish myth, but you can do research on her. So is it really just a myth? Now she rebelled once again against God. And I wrote it down. I got the notes and everything. God sent some angels to go to her and tell her come back home to her husband. And that was Adam. They found her in the cave giving birth to a baby. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I'm sharing part of the conversation I had with my house. I was going to say my clients with my house. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't understand where I'm at. I know a lot of y'all cannot feel where I'm at. But when it comes to people that, I'm going to say, have certain gifts. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. Have certain gifts. And I was sharing with them how God showed you certain things. And sometimes when you talking to other people, if they not right there where you at, they will not understand and they will think you crazy. But that's not it. So what I have to do with certain people that I know have special gifts on a spiritual note is to help them understand and embrace that gift. Because this is the way God works with a lot of us. And what tends to happen, some of us who can't, through your trials and tribulations, and you can't comprehend here, it will send you into a state of mania because you're trying to figure out stuff. So with all of this, the chemical imbalance, man, and if you're not in touch with the spiritual side of yourself, yes, it will make you feel like you're crazy. So my thing is, if you have special gifts and you see stuff, which is evil, or demons, or demonic. And I'm going to tell you this too. In my process, I started looking up certain spirits that do certain things. Like, we got the spirit of death. If y'all notice, y'all don't hear a lot of people talking about that.
See? The healer. I don't know why she give it to her. No.
Let me see. Yeah, that's cool. She want to use it?
Hey, you want this?
She can't. Right, she can't. She's telling me that they blowing out, so I have to get somebody in here to check that. Because I wasn't having them issues at first.
Give her the stuff you want to know.
Yeah, I wasn't having these issues with the electric at first. I know. But look, we over there, and we rolling. This 24-year-old right that's in there, a lot of the stuff that we basically was talking about, for him to be like 24 and into like God like that, I'm like, whoa. Because I'm telling you, whoever I'm dealing with, we tend to go on a deeper spiritual level. And I know for a fact, sometimes the way God worked with us, you got people who like their mind pops. They might look crazy. They might feel crazy because once again, If you call yourself working with this, and this what I had to understand too in my process, never try to figure God out. And what God does to us and for us, a lot of the stuff he do don't make a lot of sense to us. So what I had to do, basically, when God say do this, do that, I don't have to try to figure out what it is, just do it. Because I'm going to tell you, I was at that point one time because I was a figure out or trying to figure everything out, you know. And early on in my Christian walk, I kind of felt like I was about to lose my mind. So I tried not to go here as much or trying to figure God out. It's just whatever he said do, I'll pray for that strength and that courage to go do what he asked me to do. And a lot of times, I'm going to show y'all this. You see this right here? My flesh say no. My flesh is what becomes rebellious or disobedient to God, is this. So a lot of times what I have to do is deny this, tell us no, keep it under control. You can't do this, you can't do that. But anyway, I would have to pray because I need more power from that spirit than the flesh. So basically what I'm saying is the flesh and the spirit is at war with each other. So that's why I said sometimes I have to tell myself no, mainly if it's not of God. I understand too, I can be a selfish and self-centered son of a sea biscuit. Now, mind you, that's that other side of me.
I heard that word in a minute.
Yeah, because I had to use them words not to curse, but I'm just saying, y'all know I curse. But I can be a rotten, no good son of a sea biscuit, but guess what? I know I'm a loving, caring, God-centered man. So it's two sides to the personality. And be honest with you, the reason why I'm saying this is because when I start looking at evil, and a lot of us look at it on the demonic tip, but when I look at evil, I just look at that rebellious side of the human being. And over the years, I think they made them out to be creatures, stuff like that. But God gave Lucifer a task, and he didn't want to keep doing it. He wanted to do something different. Not just him, a bunch of other, I'm going to say his buddies. Those are the ones that God, like, they are in the dungeon and they are waiting to be released. If you notice, you never hear me say the devil this, the devil that, the devil this, because I learned in the process of my walk, it's not really him. It's other little entities out there that's causing havoc, but I learned they're not as strong as we are. So you have to stand firm. You have to stand firm. So a lot of y'all don't know and understand that I fight. This is my biggest weapon to fight against, like, corruption, that fights against evil, that fight against anything that tends to hurt our homeless and less fortunate people. Now, guess what? If y'all really know the mission of Christ, did he not say to Matthews and them, come follow me, I will make you fishers of men? Did he not say the sins that you committed before you came to me are thrown into the sea of forgiveness? I will never use them against you again. But then he goes on to say, but yet you are still sinners. But this time your sins is justified by my death. So basically what I got from that, I'm still going to fall short. But when I do, that's all I got to do is get up, say, Lord, please forgive me for the sins that I committed towards the body of Christ, and take it to the next level. Take it to the next level. Now, when I ask for forgiveness, it's not to continue practicing the same old stuff. It's like to move away from it. So I'm just saying this. I don't know, because God had us on the road today. He had us on the road today. And I felt so good to sit there and talk to my clients, but we're more on a spiritual note. And my goal with people that tends to have, I'm gonna say, mental conditions, it could be really spiritual. And this is God's way of blocking us from seeing certain things or doing certain things. But some people, their minds pop. And that was one of my biggest fears when I first came into Christ. You know, trying to be perfect. Don't want to do some of the stuff I used to do. Matter of fact, I wanted to be perfect. And I felt like in my walk, about 2 years into my walk, I felt like I was about to lose my freaking mind because I was trying to be perfect. And I realized in the flesh, I will never be perfect. So when I hear, I'm going to say a lot of our pastors, ministers, bishops, or whatever, and you call yourself knocking other people in the body of Christ, and if you understand what I understand, it's not for us to do that. It's to encourage one another. And not only that, what I begin to understand too is your downfalls is what God will use to help make somebody else stronger. I'm telling you. I know for a fact, for me, and in my walk, I'm totally different from a lot of people. I know that. And I know a lot of people can't understand why Steve do what he do or say what he say or fight what he fight. But understand, I have to keep it real. You might not like it, but that's not you. I'm not you. So I try not to knock the way you do things. But if you coming for our Christian people or people that wants to come to Christ, and you feel like you need to discourage them, and I'm talking about people with alternative lifestyles and all of that. If you're a man that like another man, Jesus already knew. If you're a woman that likes another woman, Jesus already knew. The point is, if you want to turn your life around or let that go, he welcomes you with open arms. But now this where I come in at on that type of tip, right? If I don't desire a woman, I desire more men. I'm just saying. But if I desire a woman, oh God, I hate when I get them little brain freeze stuff, right? But let me try to clear that up. Let me try to clear it up because I hate when stuff like fly right out your head. Boom. And I started, these are just things that I started seeing over the years because I had to understand too, the Bible is for the individual on how God wants you to live your life towards him. And then when you read and you study the Bible, you learn to live by the spiritual principles contained. That's the same things our parents tried to teach us when we was coming up. Morals, values, and principles. So I'm trying to get back to what I was saying before it flew out my head. And I'm just looking at the conversation we had, y'all. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And then when you got people on that spiritual journey, right? And say like you dealing with certain issues like bipolar, schizophrenic, all of that. And I do think that this is another way God be trying to show us stuff on a spiritual note. And some people can't handle it without something to suppress it. And that's the medication, right? And then what I try to do to help people understand, because it's a spiritual journey, you might see things that we don't see. Talking about in the spirit realm. But now, if this is the way God is dealing with you, because we all have our own special gifts, it's not for me to knock your gift, but it's for me to support you with my gift. Because we all basically on that same journey. So I just thought about James Cat, right? Because he's on my page and he said, I am my brother keeper. So I'm sending things over to him because he's a God-centered man. And when he say I'm my brother's keeper, it's for us to motivate, encourage each other, and lift each other up. So these are done by words. But then not only that, people have to feel your spirit. And you can be, I'm going to say in a sense, one of the evilest, nastiest dude. Now, mind you, I'm talking more about my liabilities. I just want to make sure I don't get the words mixed up. And that's part of my makeup as a human being, having a good side of himself and he having a bad side. And to be honest with y'all, and I hope I didn't just confuse you. So when I look into scripture, I look at the character of the human being. So when I say things like I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate dude, I am. You can't take that from me. But then I can become a rotten, no good son of a Z-biscuit too. But I'm still that same person. And that's how I look at, when we look at Adam and we look at Lucifer, there was a good side. Then you got a bad side. And then on top of that, as I begin to read and study more, Lucifer only rebelled against God. What God told him to do, he didn't want to keep doing it. What God created him for, he wanted to do something different. And I'm saying this right, Simon, I love you, bro. That was one of, well, I ain't gonna say one because I still look at him as my sponsor. But he's a religious dude. He's a pastor, stuff like that. So he told me one day, he said, Steve, he was asking me, he said, what is sin? And I wanted to start naming it right. Well, God said, thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that, going there. He says, Steve, and he kept it so simple. He says, sin is rebellion against God.
Sin is it is. I like that, Steve. You said sin is a rebellion.
Yeah, when you know the word, it's like your parent, like your father, your mother, and they teaching us morals, values, and principles.
Yeah.
But we go against what they trying to tell us to do. And that's what Satan did. He rebelled. So I had to look at it, right, as time went on, and it's being disobedient to God. That's all. He rebelled. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do, but God set a task for him. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with y'all, because I started reading other information, and it helped me to understand more about Lucifer and his cohorts, whatever, his boys. And it's like your father, like your parent, and they tell you to do such and such and such, and you be like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. And when Simon told me that, he says sin is just rebellion, being rebellious against God. And I stopped doing a lot of that, like looking at the commandments, thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that. Because if you already know, that's all he's saying. And when we do, because you got to look at, we do a lot of stuff. Now check this out. This is where I'm at. Now I ain't married no more, but I am a Christian man. So we're not supposed to have sex without, wedlock. And watch what I say. In my marriages, I cheated on all my wives. And I know that was disobedient towards the commandments, the rules, towards God. So if I'm sleeping outside my marriage, I'm sinning. If you're a man that like another man, and God said don't lay with a man as you would lie with a woman, and you doing it, you rebelled against God. If you're a woman that's sleeping with another woman, now mind you, it goes to show, guess what? I cheated in my marriage. I sinned against God. You cheating on whatever you doing, you sinned against God. So now, mind you, sin is sin. And it's called rebellion or being disobedient to God. So why am I going to sit back? And if you're the type of person that like the same sex, but I'm the type of person that like cheating, who any better? Because it's going against God or the word. You understand the word? And I stopped doing that to people. What makes me any better than you? Because I got ordained deacon, right? But I'm cheating. I'm cheating and I'm sleeping around with the women in the church. Thank God I never did it. Thank God. And be honest with you, I tried to talk to some, but thank God I didn't. I thank God I didn't, because that's the house of worship. And I do not want to be sitting in there, oop, I hope she ain't tell her. I hope she ain't tell her. I hope my wife don't know. And I watch us. I watch how we sit back and we fall short. But we'll turn around, and when you fall short, we want to point fingers at you. No. And I thank God that Simon told me that. Steve, what is sin? And sin is disobedience towards God. If you know his word, you understand his word, and you call yourself living accordingly, but you go the opposite way, and I'm going to tell you this, it's okay, just don't stay too long. That's the point of repenting and moving on. And see, what I had to do when I stepped outside my marriage, number one, I had to stop. I had to stop, number one. Then I had to turn around and don't call none of them no more. So it's like walking away from that sin. I'm sharing the process with you. And it was times where I wanted to call, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Thank God I didn't remember nobody's numbers because it was in the phone. And I didn't remember offhand. So now, when we talk about repenting, you stop doing what you're doing. It could be sex, it could be drugs, it could be lying, it could be manipulating, it could be all of this. That's against our morals, values, and principles when we're trying to move forward. And I don't know about a lot of y'all, but when I'm doing, in my spirit, when I'm doing certain things that's totally against God, I start feeling like jealousy. I'm trying to think of insecurities. I'm trying to think of because I'm feeling empty inside now. And in order for me to feel the comfort of the Spirit again, that wedge of protection, or that hedge of protection over my life, I got to turn around and stop doing what I was doing. And sometimes it all depends on the pain. Because you know when you're doing something crooked, like stepping outside your marriage and stuff, in the beginning, the pain is like, it's pleasurable. It's fun. But then when that pain begins to kick in, it begins to override that pleasure. And now I'm feeling bad about things that I had no business doing. But guess what? This is what I do. Number one, I got to stop. Certain females that I used to pop over their house, I used to do this, I had to do that. I had to drive the other way to get where I needed to go, so I won't make that stop. I had to stop calling them. Like I said, stop calling them, trying to hang out with them, because now I'm turning things around. Then I definitely got to say, God, please forgive me. So for me, and I'm gonna just share this because Marvin Sapp and Fred Hammond was basically the only two men that I would listen to feed my spirit through the music, right? Because it's nothing but gospel, but feed my spirit. And just because of the love and the compassion, or the love. Let me try to put it there, like with that regular relationship, like the regular relationship with the man, women. And I had to build that back with Christ. I had to feel the covering of Christ again over my life through the Holy Spirit. And once I began to feel it again, the whole thing was to continue doing the right things. I don't like when like shame, guilt, jealousy, resentments, hatred, bitterness, that's not of God. And guess what? They principles too, but they more like that negative side. They tend to get us in trouble as human beings. So it's for me to do the right things. And I'm only sharing this because, say, like if I'm caught up in something, right? And I like to use this word, and some people look at it as a dirty word. I don't. I am an addict. I am an addict. And if you know what addiction is, it's an obsessive and compulsive behavior. So I can tell you this. I'm the type of person that can't do really one of nothing. So right then and there, I have to practice some self-control and discipline. You know how you go to the store and you get a sandwich and you like, I'm gonna eat some now or eat half now and then save the other half for later. But then you turn around and you eat that one now and that other one that you save for later is gone. So what I had to understand with me, right, and it's not, keep in mind, all about just the drugs. No. And most people that's been with me for almost the 30 years that I've been clean, if you ever hear me talk about I'm stuck with a female, 9 times out of 10 is 5. How I know? Because I've been there. And that's what I do. When I open up that door, I go. So as long as I stay spiritually balanced or connected, I won't really go back that way too much. Because I know it's not nothing but trouble back there. Because the certain things I do can kill me. Like messing with some type of drug dealer girl. And I'm the hack man. I'm uncle, but I'm sleeping with your girl. And that's how they tend to present me. I'm all right with that. And guess what? Sometimes when I'm talking to our young men, I try to help them understand. If you don't show them no love and affection and you hanging more out with your friends and they home with the baby and they feeling left out, here I go. It's like how we meet. And I might say certain things, and what they do, they open up to tell me where they at. And then next thing you know, we talking a little bit more. Then we talking a little bit more. Then we go to hang out. I'm not trying to be your boyfriend. I'm not trying to be your man. But I want somebody I can come to from time to time. Is you all right with that? Y'all know how many times women be all right with that. I'm talking about younger females. Because the only thing they want is that love, affection, and attention. And I'll give it. I will make you seem like you the best thing that ever came in my life. And my daughter asked me the other day, she said, Daddy, is you a sugar daddy? I said, yup. And shut up, chump. And know why I said yeah? Because I'm the type of man that take care of women. Now I had to be honest with me. But because my mother taught me from a young age, men take care of their responsibilities. So if you come in my life and I'm stepping outside my marriage, I'm gonna basically treat you like you my wife. But I know you're not. With all the comforts that I would, do for her. So you know where I'm at right now? I ain't letting nobody too close to me right now. And I had to address a lot of my own personal issues, right? And that's talking about like my addiction, where I'm caught up at in certain things. So I've been eating a lot of sweets lately. And I told myself, I'm like, Steve, you gotta stop. You're diabetic. You gotta stop. And I'm starting to have that taste for like sugar. And it's more like cakes now. And I'm like, Steve, you gotta stop. And the best way I do that, really, when I go to the market and stuff like that, stop buying sugar and bringing it in the house. And I'm talking about like pies and cakes and chocolate. Because chocolate, I'm addicted to chocolate too. So I'm telling myself, Steve. So guess what? Once again, I got to practice some self-control and discipline in that area. Because if you keep eating these sweets like this, your sugar gonna go out of whack. I'm 60 years old and I've been a diabetic since I was 26. I used to be bigger than what I am. I went from a size 46 pants to like a 36. I went from 5X blazers or suits. And if I buy a 5X suit, the pants is 51. So when I buy it, I have to get it tailored. So basically I'm buying a whole suit and I have to get it tailored. And that's what I was doing. So it got to the point I started buying blazers. And if I want to hook it up to be kind of, casual, classic, I can hook it up with a nice blazer, some jeans, dress pants, shoes. Oh my God, my shoes. And my daughter, me and her talking, this is the 21-year-old. Now, she thought my shoes was like Gators and all that type of stuff. I said, no, I don't wear that. Too many people wear Gators, snakes, and all that. So I tell people, I say, I got shoes at home that will eat your Gators up or your snake skin. Only reason why, because everybody don't wear them type of shoes. But if you notice, most of them that like Gators, snake skin, stuff like that, they basically the same. So I try to be different. So the shoes I have, and you see me, you be like, Dad, man, where you get them from? And he could have his Gators on. He could have his snake heads on. He can have whatever. But it's like so many guys will basically buy the same things. I have seen some people at my church who went out and brought some shoes that look like mine. And they didn't come from the same people where I got mine from. They look close to it. I'm telling you. So what are you saying? Not really nothing. I just came on because I haven't been on all day. And I brought my laptop because I had to go next door. We got some plumbing work that needed to be done over here. So I had to come and meet the guys outside because they got to tear the ground up in the alley. So I had to come around. And I'm sitting over at the next house. And my journey is spiritual, y'all. My journey is spiritual. I'm not a religious man. I moved away from that years ago. I don't like everybody feeding my spirit. So you can sit back and, come at me because you think you know everything, but you want to come at me at a certain way. I won't let you come but so far. And I'm talking about on a spiritual note. And it's not personal. I just can't do it. Let everybody try to feed me my spirit. No. And if you ever listen to me, I will always talk about the Creator. I will always talk about the flesh, Jesus, and I will talk about the Holy Spirit. But I know it's only one God. And the work that this one God performed. When Jesus came, Jesus went to the less fortunate, the people that the world tend to shun to the side because your life is together. You're doing all the right things. So he came for the unrighteous. You're doing all the right things. And it's not to say you don't need him, because if you're on that spiritual journey, he's right there anyway. But it's the ones that we tend to turn our backs on or we talk about. And in my process of doing what I'm doing, because, turning my life around, not living that destructive life no more. The goal is, and I was taught this early on in my recovery. When my first sponsor, he said, Steve, it's something about you, bro. So you need to do all the work on you, because basically it was a mission that I had to do. And because I didn't understand where I supposed to have been at or how God calling me, I started telling people, I said, God is calling me to the ministry, but I don't know where he want me at. You know what I mean? So Andre Nance, we come from the same, that was my oldest brother, but he started ministering during this time. He said, read into the book of Isaiah and Jeremiah, because now I'm trying to see where God want me to go. So I read a little bit into Isaiah, but when I read Jeremiah, chapter 1, around there, verse 4, when God came to Jeremiah in the dream. Now watching that during this time, I'm trying to find out where is God trying to send me. So as I was reading it, and even though this was Jeremiah, and he really didn't know or he felt like he didn't have it in him to do what God called him to do. So I'm reading this, right? And God says, Steve Copeland, I put everything in you that I called you to go out and do. This is not something I planned. Now, during this time, I'm sharing my experience, strengths, and hopes, right? And I'm sponsoring a lot of men and women, and now I'm getting involved into the community because I see how the community need us. They need leaders. They need for somebody that's going to stand on something. One thing I learned about me, I am a soldier. I am a warrior. That's why I come the way I come. And a lot of y'all take it personal. But you got to understand, that's my mission. And I understand that I am a fighter. I am a warrior. And sometimes, to be honest with y'all, I don't want to go do some things, because I don't know who might be out there mad at what I said. Oh. All right, I got it. All right, I got it.
Well, you know, he got all this money, you know, on his feet.
Well, I got it. Wait a minute, I'm on my live.
I'll just let you know.
I got you.
That's crazy. I say
And that's where my sense of direction come from. And I'm gonna tell you, I know, like I said, I know for a fact. I know for a fact, right? And I'm trying to look at being humble. I'm trying to look at being meek and mild and stuff like that. Like most of your pastors that wants to act like they're greater than what they really are, or your bishops, whoever. Like they're above their reproach as far as sin-wise. You stay in the flesh, you're gonna fall. But then they at a point where they talking about like you know, they want to beat you up, right? But anyway, I'm trying to get the words together right, because one thing I begin to understand, in my flesh, I will never be perfect. I ain't even trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to walk on water unless it's a puddle outside, you know, something like that. No, I'm not. I'm trying to be the best Christian man that I can be. And I'm talking about like personality wise, loving, kind, considerate, thoughtful. That's what I'm talking about. Piss me the heck off. And watch you see that no good rotten son of a sea biscuit. But man, I got to get that sucker under control because I don't like prison. I don't know about y'all. Central booking is like me being in Jessup somewhere, because I never been to prison like that and spent time behind bars. No, I don't want to. So a lot of times when that other side show up, now guess what? I got to practice some discipline and self-control with that person. And I'm talking about me. So I have to tell myself, no, I got to take control over it. And yeah, my goal when I do things is not to get you to run away from me, because the goal is for you to gravitate towards me, not to run from me. Because the only thing I'm doing, if you come to me, and if you don't know Christ, I'm gonna try to introduce you to him. But see, I have my own special way. I can't say in Mark 4:5 and Luke said this and Luke said that. No. So I have to break it down in layman terms. And then I understand too, right? It all depends on where your heart is at. You might have lost a mother, a father, a kid, or somebody, and you mad with God because they took them out your life, because he took them out your life. So I have to watch when I'm trying to like be that fisher of men and women. I'm gonna put that there too. So I have to watch the way I bring you in, because the whole goal and what I'm doing is helping you to get to know Christ. I might not tell you that because I might use the word spiritual. I might use the word, like, I might say things like good orderly direction. But the whole thing is I'm trying to touch the spirit. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm good at what I do when it comes to that. That's why a lot of people can't understand me. Because you know what it is? If I do not say in Mark or Ephesians, or I don't quote Timothy, what Timothy said, or what James said, if I don't quote it, but I break it down, you miss it. And it's not for you. It's not for you. It's not for everybody. My message is not for everybody. And the best example to me that I can share with y'all to help y'all understand Stephen Copeland, right? Watch the book of Eli. Watch the book of Eli. And if you seen it, you understood he fought for the word. He stood up and he killed 2 in the process of protecting the word. Now, I'm just saying because it kind of gives you a big picture of some of us, how we fight. And when he laid down, and I did not realize all throughout the movie, he was really blind. And he was walking through blind faith. That book of Eli is awesome. And what that did, that helped me to understand my mission for God. And the best way I can try to describe for other people to understand where I'm at is the book of Eli. The word is in me. The word is in me. And I live it to the best of my abilities. I have to be an example too. But I want people to understand, even though I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate man, that other side of me that I try to keep, that other personality dude, that other dude that can be evil, nasty, and resentful. I have to keep that sucker under control. And I'm going to say this right here. When I started reading the Bible and I began to understand, it's talking about the human being. Talking all about the human being. You got an old way of doing things, and you have a new way. Most of your religious teaching or most of your religious sectors, like Baptist, Catholic, stuff like that, they go by Old Testament laws. No. And then when you look at it, with Noah and his family, God destroyed that. I gotta watch what I say. And God destroyed his people. Because it was people that was not God's, I'm gonna say, generation of Adam and Eve, his chosen people. It was people outside that witnessed the flood. And God only got rid of basically his people and recreated again through Noah. Think I don't know Bible? And how often do you hear anybody say that? They don't even talk about Noah like that. And he said he will never destroy his people again like that. I was getting ready to say the world. But what I understand too, right? Check this out. And please forgive me because sometimes I switch up names or whatever. But I'm talking about Cain and Abel, right? So I'm getting ready to screw it up, right? Like Cain killed Abel, but y'all know which one did what, right? And he was vanished. He had to leave the land that his mother and father was on. Do y'all realize this? Now, mind you, we looking at Adam, we looking at Eve, we looking at oh God. I hate when I go ahead and do stuff because when I go ahead, that's when I skip things. We looking at Cain and Abel. Do you hear a lot of people talking about Seth? You don't hear them talking about Seth that much. Is Cain killed Abel or, around there? But they never talk about Seth. They never talk about the daughters that Adam and Eve had. But check this out. And like I said, if I put the names in the wrong place, please forgive me, right? But when Cain killed Abel and he was vanished, he had to leave the land that his mother and father and them was on. Now, by this time, he was scared that if he left the land, he might get killed. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, wait a minute. It was people living outside that we never was taught about too. So I'm like, who is he talking about? Like, wait a minute, ho. Wait a minute. It's other people out and he's afraid that he might get killed. So God put a mark on him so that people wouldn't touch him. So I started looking up who's those people. And then guess what? He took a wife. God dang it, where did this wife come from? So I'm going to just say this, and I'm going to get ready to go. I'm not sharing nothing to discourage anyone or to talk against whomever's story. But understand this. When we read about Moses and the things he did, that was his testimony. Now, I will pick with you like this, right? The Spirit of the Lord hovered through the universe. The Spirit of the Lord hovered through the universe. And it was dark, without form. Moses wrote this in the beginning because he's supposed to be the author of the first 5 books. Now, I will play with you because I'm only asking this. Who was there to witness the Spirit hovering through the universe? Because y'all got to understand this. In order for them to write certain things down, they had to have experienced it. And I will do that to you. Who eyewitnessed the Spirit of the Lord hovering through the universe? Now, we know Moses supposedly wrote the book. But who actually eyewitnessed that? And we can say Moses, but he didn't. And I asked several people stuff like that, right? You know what, somebody had the nerve to tell me it was the disciples. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, we're talking about Old Testaments. Back then they was prophets. Those are the prophets that God worked with. So I was just being smart because I know everything we do as spiritual people, God gives us visions, and I'm trying to think of the words to go together just to help us to see certain things. Because basically, when you writing, if you talking about certain things in scripture, like when you read Matthew's, it says before you get into it, according to Matthew's, according to Mark, John, Luke, according to. It didn't say according to Jesus Christ. They telling their account of what went on during that time. And the way I look at it, by them on that journey with Jesus, they was only sharing their experience, from hanging out with Jesus. That's the way I see it. And not only that, the miracles and everything. Now, I think it was Benny Hinn, right? And Benny Hinn kind of like coming at people too, right? About, Jesus was the only man risen from the dead, or, Jesus died and he came back in 3 days and he was the only man, he gone. And I'm like, what about Lazarus? Didn't Jesus bring them back from the dead? Now, can y'all understand why I don't track a lot of people, go behind them? I was told, or I was taught, get an understanding God for yourself. Bishop always say that. Basically, what he was saying, relationship-wise, get to know God for yourself. Because people can feed us basically anything, and it sounds great. But guess what? I don't need you to feed me like that today with a lot of misinformation. Now, I'm trying to quote that page back, a statement that I put out about not held bound by Old Testament laws. And two people that I know, love dearly, Christian people, gave me the angry look, face emoji. And I hope you're looking at it. Because I know for me, and I understand the word is what it is. I'm going to put it like that with Mark, John, Luke, and all of them. I understand it is what it is, what it is, right? I don't want to change it. I don't want to take away from it. But it's like God will add other things to help you better understand that. And when I made that statement, two people, and I hope you right there, I ain't even going to call y'all name. So I'm hoping you in the background looking. The way God taught you how to do things don't have nothing to do with me. Because you went to theology school or you went to seminar classes and you got your PhD or your doctorate. No, I haven't went. But it's the Holy Spirit that guides me and shows me the truth behind God's word. I was told that early on. Pray for sight beyond sight. And I'm not saying don't use other people's experiences or from the Bible. Don't use other people's experiences, because when you look at it, to be truthful, these are like they letters, manuscripts, documents, and they believe this person wrote that. They believe this person wrote that. After their research and they came to the conclusion after pulling up stuff, we believe that John wrote this. We believe that Mark wrote this. So the only reason why I'm saying that, because number one, stop feeding people bull junk. Stop. Now check it out. Whenever you go to school or you want to go and learn more about this specific issue, do you realize you studying somebody else's experience if you have not like experienced it for yourself? So now you writing down stuff that somebody else wrote. Now, if I ask you, was you there to see what they did and was it real? Because you got to see it with this. No, but I believe God inspired them and God did this and that. And I'm not saying he didn't. Okay. But guess what? If you haven't seen it for yourself, if you haven't experienced it for yourself, but never mind, I ain't going to go there with that one. Because when I started reading and studying more, and I began to understand through my life experiences, right? I began to see how God used ordinary people. He built them up and encouraged them and motivated them. to go back out and do what he called them to do. And right now I'm looking at Moses, right? I believe Moses had a stuttering problem. And I believe Moses was an alcoholic. But God knew deep down inside he had the courage to go and do what he told him to do. So he went to Pharaoh and told Pharaoh, God said, let my people go. They're not your people. And then when I think about Jonah, and God gave Jonah a message to go to Nineveh and warn them about his message, what he was going to do. Jonah tried to run. Jonah tried to hide because he did not want to go and give them that message. But basically, when I read up a little bit more about him, he wanted God to give them the punishment. That's why he didn't want to go. So he wanted God to do what he said he's going to do if they don't straighten out. And he tried to run, and he tried to hide, and he tried to duck. It reminded me of me when God was like, I need you to go and talk to these people. And I'm scared that something bad might happen. And the Middle River thing was one of them. And I had to pray because my flesh wasn't willing. And I had to pray for the strength and the courage to go back out and do what God called me to do. Don't you ever try to tell me what I don't know because you Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, and you trying to be perfect and you flipping and stuff and you nasty and mean as all outdoors. Be real. That's all you got to do is be real. Keep it real. You human just like me. But when you put yourself in another category, like you above me, and I should say your name because you snuck yourself back on my page and you so into the religious side of stuff and got mad at me because of the way I carried it. I haven't stopped doing what God called me to do. And they're going to sit back and leave me a message and say, that's why don't nobody like you. And this came from another Christian woman. Because I'm not bowing down to your bull crap. And she told me, now I understand why people don't mess with you. And I'm like, I'm like, Jesus, AKA, or God, AKA Jesus. And that's how she presents it. I said, now I know who you is. Gonna come on my page, follow me around, right? I'm doing what God called me to do. So I'm in the community, or I'm out there trying to help, build people up, feed people, stuff like that. The stuff that I did early on, I don't do as much because I'm by myself. And it's a lot of wear and tear on me now. But if I see people need help, I have no problem in helping. I have none. And every time I do stuff, I don't look at Mark. I don't look at John. I don't look at Timothy and all of them. I don't look at Adam or Abraham. I don't look at them. And the stuff that we read in the Bible, I don't look at that. Basically, I have to look at what God asked me to do. And I have to stand firm on my beliefs of what I believe God is telling me to do. And it might not be pretty all the time. And I can tell you personally, I don't mean no harm. But I learned years ago, because I am a community activist. I am a community organizer with Communities United. If you don't understand anything about Communities United, we fight here in Baltimore City for the democracy of Black people. We fight for your civil rights, your equal rights, your constitutional rights. So when you tell somebody like me, oh, the amendment's not going to work. They just say, yes, they will. You got to fight for what you want out of life. And they can be ratified. I didn't understand a lot of that. To suit whatever culture that you feel like you're being mistreated in. So if it's the black race or the black people, that's what I'm talking about. When I went to Detroit, I realized the immigrants up there, or I'm sorry, the Mexicans up there is being treated like trash in Detroit, like we being treated like trash in Baltimore. So I realized we're not the only one that's suffering. We just the only ones that cry out the most. We yell out rather than fighting for what we want. You never hear me say stuff like, the white man this and the white man that, or the white man oppressing us and this system is blah, 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 blah. Because one thing I learned in this process in dealing with Communities United, we fight for fair housing, fair wages. We fight for the senior citizens and all that. If you feel like you've been treated bad through the system, we come together. Just like the Baltimore City Police Department, their budget is over $600 million. So Communities United and other organizations, they fight to reduce the police budget. And when they passed it last time, we got the budget reduced by 20 million. Y'all ain't even know that, did you? But guess what? In the process of getting it cut by 20 million, it didn't touch their like retirement plan and all this type of money. But what it did, it cut back on the horse part, like the police is riding through the city on the horses. So they was able to take money out of certain other things without actually touching the police. I'm gonna say finances and 401k and all. 401k, where that come from? 401k, all of that, because they had to take that money out from somewhere. And when they do that, it's supposed to go back in Baltimore City, like the school system. I'm gonna say homeless services. I'm gonna say housing, because the whole goal is for the poor people is to put the money back in the city that they taking out. We got the city watch cameras. We got speed cameras. We got tag readers. So guess what? Look at all the money Baltimore City is collecting, parking tickets. Look at all the money that Baltimore City is collecting, but it's steady going out. Look at how we ran down. I'm talking about city-wise. So all debt supposed to go back, taxes-wise, into the inner city to build up. And it's your politicians that's not putting that money where it's supposed to go. Come on. And y'all want to get mad when I say stuff? And I'm doing the research to see what needs. I ain't doing no goddamn research. When I do stuff with like Communities United, and if I'm asked to come and speak anywhere, I just want to have a little understanding of what's going on and why we need to turn it around. And if you ever watch me, I share a little story and then tell you towards the other side, take you towards the other side. Sometimes it's a process you walk through to get people to turn their lives around, but they got to be willing. Because guess what? I'm living proof. I'm living proof. So I ain't got to sit there and say, I think we should do this. I think we should do that. I don't have to do that, because I can tell you what we can do to slow certain things down, to gain control over it. And that's what Communities United is all about. We come into your communities to help you organize your community. Where the NAACP at? Where they at? Y'all voted the president in with that. Look at the crime and the murder rate in the black community. Where is the NAACP at? Who do you think helped for criminals to have voting rights right now? And a lot of criminals that have felonies and all of this, because I wanted to be more clear on what was what. But people with felons, they criminals, they can vote. So what you do, you find a politician that's probably creating a bill. And that's what you do by running off at your mouth like I be doing. And then that politician or that person who feel the same way you do and they want to make changes. And I'm just saying for our low to moderate income people, for people to feel like those are the people that feel like they can't move forward in life. We didn't lie to them so much. We didn't make fake promises so much. So they don't trust no more. And basically, I'm talking about the homeless people. Because guess what? I was down there one day. They came out to catch Christina so that they can get a list of the people Christina have that need housing. That's all they had to do was talk to the people out there and write the information down themselves. So she give them a list. Now you got to talk to the person now. Don't get it wrong. Who application you got to put in. They don't have a cell phone. So how you going to reach them? Now, Christina Flowers, the way she fixed her papers, you might have to go through her to get through them. And guess what? If they living on the streets, she might can't catch up with them, just like me. So that's why I got the housing program. So most of my clients that's in here to get put into housing, they right here getting prepared. They get the mental health they need and everything. So if they need balance back out with the medication, that's what I help them do. When I see that they paying their bills on time every month, and that's just they making a donation, because I can't use the word rent, lease, right? Because it's donations. And that's what social service told me. I could put donation, contribution, and I'm finding out this too. I can put lodging. And that's that word just to say they paying for their space. So it's not to keep them. So these are words that, matter of fact, social service told me, because I had to fix out a form for somebody. And I said, because it's not a renter's lease, but to let them know they're in my program and how much they pay. And I will stamp it with my seal to let you know they're here. Because basically what I am, I'm their mouthpiece. Whatever issues they having, I will go and address it with whoever. You can't be no punk doing stuff like that. And guess what? I'll dress up for the occasion. I like to dress. I like to look nice. And I'm just a person whose life God turned around. Don't you ever tell me they ain't gonna change. They don't want this. They don't want that. And I'm like, yes, they do. A lot of times we have to show people. We have to walk people through a process. So when you tell somebody like me that's coming up on 30 years clean, and when you tell me, oh, they don't want to change, they don't want nothing, they want to do that, I say, yes, they do. Why you say that? Because I changed. Now, keep in mind, it takes the work. They do have to have the desire. So I understand all of that right there. I do. But I just don't want you to give up on them. That's why I don't like when people tell me that. And yeah, we can't help everybody. I know that. But the thing is, when you start knocking people first, you ain't even give them a chance to at least try to see, do they really want the help? And I know for a fact, in order for you to turn your life around from a destructive lifestyle, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. I already know that, because that's what happened with me. My desire to stay clean became more stronger than my desire to use. Want me to say that again? My desire to stay clean had became more stronger than my desire to use. I know how to be reckless. I know how to be destructive. I know how to do certain things when people call themselves wanting to come for me. I know how to get you first. But guess what? I know how to not to take it so personal. Because if you threaten me, I'm going back to old days. Like I'm going to deliberately let you come up and do something to me. I wasn't like that when I was on the streets. So if you come and do something and I don't see it, that's what you do. I don't see it coming. But don't let me see you coming. And I really, really think you're serious about trying to hurt me. Somebody gonna go down. I don't care how many of y'all it is. I don't. To sleep.
Yeah. I told you I was gonna get some.
Oh,
If you wanted to see, like, break them in half.
no, I'm a girl.
Oh, that's
I might not even get up tomorrow. I might not, because I have an issue with sleeping, so she gave me something to help me sleep. So and last time she gave me something, I slept real good. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get my doctor, just to help me sleep a little bit. And I don't know. I'm just thinking about how, we try to watch out for each other, y'all. And say like certain people might rent out their medication, and somebody else in here might be taking the same medication. And I know they don't want you to do stuff like that, but if we can help you stay balanced until you're able to do what you need to do, and it's the same type of medication, and it's the same, what is that, milligram, then we try to work with each other. Because sometimes people wait till they run out, and then it's like I'll spot you slipping back, and I'll be like, oh my God, you're not taking your medication. And the thing with that, some people, you might have to sign away. It all depends on how deep they is. You might have to sign away for them to balance them back out. And this is my fight right now, right? Is to, like, if I dial 911, because I feel like this person is a threat to themselves and to others in the house. And if I call you and I tell you what I do and the type of people that I work with, and I'm talking about the police, and you come out and tell me it's nothing they can do, and I'm like, because I know you can. I know you can. And see, this is the thing that get me, and I'm gonna get ready to get off in a little bit because it's almost an hour and a half. When I first went through this with some clients on Ricestown Road, I'm looking at the lady and you can tell she's gone. Can't really concentrate, mind rushing. You can just see it. And I kind of felt sorry for her because I know she's trying to have a normal conversation with me and talk with me and stay on point, but she couldn't focus a lot. So I'm looking, and it's like, how long you been without your medication? Now, mind you, I already know where you at mentally, stuff like that. So I have to work with you a certain way. But now this person's starting to have a mental breakdown. So we need to get her away, sign her away quick. I called the police. It was nothing they can do unless she admitted, unless she told them she need help. But a lot of times they're not going to tell you. So they'll try to act as normal as possible, right? Then her boyfriend Anyway, I found out from this, and it kind of broke my heart, y'all. I'm calling to get my clients some help. And I didn't have them turn around. And I'm telling them what I do. I need them put away. And I'm telling them what I do. They go talk to them. And when they talk to them, now mind you, these are people that's not in their clear head. And it never fails. They come back at me. They come back at me and want to tell me business-wise what I can and what I cannot do. I said, don't do that, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. And please don't come at me with the housing thing, because we helped Bill Henry and them get that landlord bill passed. So don't try to feed me that, because I'm already familiar with what needs to be done, or how you need to go through a certain process of getting people out. But I understand certain things they can't do because the sheriff department is there. But my thing is, I want y'all to try to eliminate or intervene before it go too far. Now, I got a girl next door. She left. I brought her in October the 4th. Police gave her my information. I didn't really have a room for her, but I had space for them to be covered in for a while. She raised holy hell from the time she been in that house. It's peaceful over there now. We laughing, we kidding, we joking. So now I know who was the problem. So this is the reason why, for me, when I know people in certain phases and I feel like they are a danger to not just themselves, but to others. Because number one, I got five bedrooms in here. So you got one person acting like a fool. So I have to tell them, go in your room, lock the door, don't come out unless you got to go take the personal stuff. Now, why do I have to do that with them if I done told you what's going on here? But then you're going to tell me that they can't go out. And I'm like, huh? Because I need the help. So, okay, let me get back to that part. I called the crisis center. You know what these people was telling me? Say like somebody want to commit suicide. They have to actually commit suicide. They have to commit the act. And if they survive, that's when they give them help. I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm telling you. And basically the same with the police. The only way we can actually help that person, they got to be committing a crime while we right there. And then we'll shoot them like we did Tyree. I said, you motherfuckers. Listen to what I'm saying. I got a phone call. Person downstairs wilding out. Disturbing the whole house. They said, Steve, because I told them the next time she do it, call the police and I'll come around. So this time, right, when I got the phone call, they said, do you want me to call the police? I said, no, because they ain't gonna do shit. But I said, if it get to the point that she's being destructive or dangerous towards everybody, then we'll have to do what we gotta do. So I'm trying to, the thing with me now, and I told Melvin Mathis that he the CEO and founder of We're One Family. I said, I'm trying to find a way that certain people that's out of their freaking mind because they got to ask for help. How many people you know out there? They out of their freaking mind, but they can't. The police cannot do anything to get them help unless they break the crime, committed the crime, and there's no guarantee they're going to survive. I'm out there arguing with the police. They trying to do renter's landlord thing. I said, please don't do that. Don't do that. They feeding this boy misinformation. Now, mind you, I told all three of them, I said, come here. We went across the street. I said, don't do that, y'all. You can't be sitting back. This is a program. Trying to do tenant landlord stuff. Don't do that. Because basically, you feeding them misinformation. So that's giving him ammunition to fight against me. I can give him 72-hour notice. Look it up. I pulled all that stuff up and made copies. Because I said the next time they come and start telling me with like certain things I can't do this, and I'm gonna go bam, bam, bam. This is the paperwork. This is the law. From Housing Authority. Just stuff like that. Under Article like 58-679. I'm just using that because where do you get the article and the section and stuff like that? So I started showing them that, right? And they was like, shit. And whatever they said to him, he was scared because they was telling him in a sense he got to go. And he was out there telling him, he was like, don't do that to me. Don't do, because I know I ain't got nowhere to go, but you ain't going to be showing your ass in here. Not in here. And that's all I wanted them to do basically was put a little fear in him. Just so he'll straighten up. People don't realize that. I told the police one day when they was here, I said, just tell him to take a walk. He can come back, tell him to take a walk. Because I wanted them to make him feel like, you know, he couldn't come in or he was gone. I just wanted him to feel that, to straighten him out. So I asked the guy, I'm sitting right here where I'm at now. I said, look, just tell him to take a walk. He said, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So you know what? It was better for him to stay here in my business, my office, my house. It was better for him to stay here and for me to go home. I said, wait a minute, that's my business. How you gonna tell me right now? I don't want nothing to escalate, right? And I'm calling y'all for this, but you telling me it's best for me to go home because you don't want to do your job. And I said to myself, I said, now I understand why people like Communities United and other organizations is fighting to reduce the police budget. Because I said, really, y'all don't do shit. Y'all don't do shit. And I hated to say that, but you showing me. So I'm going to try to get the words back the way I was saying it, right? If I go home and I get a phone call that somebody got killed in this house because of the person, the lady told me, she said, then you call us. I said, no, the fuck I won't. Excuse me, y'all. And I'm talking to the police because I'm trying to get y'all to give us the necessary help so it won't go there. I was lost. It's like, why should I call the police and I can't even get the help that I need? Am I really for this anymore? I'm like, come on, because it's like our poor people, our suffering people, they don't give a hell. I'm telling you. So once again, I'm starting to do research. Because when I run across somebody I might not even know, but they wilding out. They gone. They don't even know they on Earth. My thing is sign them away before somebody kill them. You got me? And to call a crisis center, realize I can't get help from them. I went down to 501 North Charles Street, first time ever, to get one of them protection things, right? Emergency petition. Talk to the judge on the phone. Now, mind you, I'm telling them what I do and everything. Well, how do you know this is that and this is that and this is that? And I'm telling them. She denied me the paperwork to give to the police to come and take the lady out the house. Now, guess what? I went down to another spot to get an emergency petition. The judge told me, because I told him the work I do. He said, next time you need it, he said, come back. Because other clients gonna come in and they might need, help or whatever. And the goal with all of that too, y'all, and me saying it, I'm trying to get a mobile bill together, a mobile office together, right? Because I would like to go to some of these places like encampments and basically help sign them up for like housing and all this type of stuff and keep a track of that for myself so I'll know who the worker is. And if they say give them a month or two, then I can call you at the end of the month. And if you haven't found nothing for them yet, I can call you at the end of next month. But then if I don't do it, I'm going to have somebody that's working with me. So whoever the client is, I just want to make sure they get the proper help they need. And a lot of them do not need to be put into, yes, they do. Don't get it wrong. I'm sorry. Like into hotels and stuff like that because they out on the streets. But basically what I'm saying with that, you have to have somebody come out and monitor them, medicate them, like a social worker, the nurse and all of this. If they doing the hotels, they need to be monitored and medicated because once they leave from there, they're going to have to find somewhere to go permanently. So you want to balance them out. I asked this guy one day, I said, man, because they got about 7 hotels. I don't know if they still have that many now that they've been using to put homeless people in and stuff like that, right? I said, once this all over with, what y'all gonna do with them? He said, I don't know. I was like, what? I'm like, y'all don't have an exit plan? Now, mind you, I'm talking to a dude that's supposed to be like on the board, got his card to do certain things with. And I'm like, they can't stay here forever, right? Y'all don't have an exit plan? When they stop giving the hotels money to do what they do? He was like, I don't know. They don't know. I was like, oh my God. And these are some very intelligent people, have master degrees, just working with the homeless and trying to put them into places. They didn't went to school, then studied certain curriculums to help people, learning to help deal with people. They smart, they're intelligent, they're a fucking bunch of dummies. And forgive my language, I wanted to put it like that for a reason. Because I'm looking at a lot of intelligent people that comes up with the dumbest stuff. And that's why a lot of it is not getting done. So my thing is, if y'all need me to come and sit with y'all, I will come and sit with y'all. To tell y'all what we can do to slow this down, what we can do to slow that down. And I started realizing, y'all, they don't want it. So what I'm doing is to slow because I'm basically by myself. I get people calling me talking about what they want to do for the people, and I think I got me a good team, right? We gonna, Where they go? Like, damn, I thought y'all had my bag. What the fuck? Excuse my language. I'm serious though. I'm telling you. I get people, man, and they come and we like, got this thing. We going for it. And next thing I know, they gone. So when something like that happen and they disappear, I look at it like this. What did I learn from them? Because we sharing the same, love and compassion or whatever along that line, right? So when they do that, then I got to ask myself, okay, what did God want me to learn from this? Because there was a reason why they was there. To understand they're not the ones he really wants you to work with when he move them. But the thing is, I can take something from it. I'm telling y'all, it's like I run across so many people because I run off at my mouth, right? And they want to come over and they want to talk this and talk that. So this where I'm at now. I got to get all my own paperwork together. The lady that did my business proposal, I ain't like it. And she's the author and all this type of stuff. I ain't even like the way she set it up. Now, mind you, I'm not a real computer person, stuff like that. I said I'm gonna do my own. Already got it written up. I just gotta type it out. And I said I'm gonna start doing my own. I got to get my credit score is probably about 600 now. The way I'm looking at it. Gladstone tell me to get it to 620, and he know people that will lend me the money to start the houses, or lease a house, then a house, then a house. So he said he got me right. So now I'm collecting everything, printing out my business thing, my business proposal. Then I want to make little packets. So whoever I sit with, I can give you something to look at and you can walk through it, because that's what's going to help me to be able to do the things that I need, because I need you to believe in the vision or the mission. I need you to do that. If you got more money than you care to, that you can spend, and you can put a couple of millions over here, like 5 or 10, it's going to go back into the community, because that's what God got me at, to do blocks. I'm just saying, y'all. But now, because I have so many people that say, like, their credit score might be good, and once you got some paperwork in order, and I'm going to use Will Hanna as an example. Will Hanna, with the Community Land Trust, he got about 280 houses in that land trust that we can get for like 5 or 10,000 to do a block. 30 units. Will made me up, the packet for 30 units. 5.4 million. I got a lender that will work with me, but everything got to be in order. So now I'm doing it myself. Get my credit score where we need to go, get my business proposal and all of that set up, break things down. So when I'm sitting at a board meeting, I'm sitting at a meeting with investors and all that, I can show you. The houses that I have is the first start to turning people's lives around. Getting them prepared to go back out. That's why I'm doing the houses like I'm doing now with the clients. Because my clients get the first option. Once we start in the building to buy a house, I will get them into the home buyers program and all of that. So I got people lined up to do everything we need to do. So I'm saying right now, I can't rely on other people. I can't rely on you to give me the paper that I need to give to the city with the check for us to do what we got to do. Will Hanna not the only one. with the Community Land Trust. Doris Terrell is another one, but she's over Broadway. And she know my vision is to rehab and revitalize houses. Because the last time I seen her, I'm like, I need you to, but we can do this. She said, okay, call me. I'm like, you be ducking. No, I don't think she be ducking. She just been busy. Because I was talking to Ples Jones one day, and I mentioned her. And Ples Jones said she'd be busy, Steve, you know. And Ples Jones Jr., me and his wife, because their vision is the same way. You know, they want to work with more of the inner city, building up in the inner city communities. So this spot over here off of where I'm going to say the Turk House, Turning Point. And if y'all familiar with like going up Bel Air Road, it's the bridge that the train go across. But if you look like this, they tore all that down. That's Ples Jones and his wife project. That's a $200 million project. They're going to have houses over there. I think it's going to be apartments though. They're going to have houses over there. They're going to have a convenience store. They're going to have a gas station right there. And it's been approved already for this. And they're going to have a workforce development program right there. Where we'll be teaching people, you know, electricity, plumbing, all of this. I can't wait. I can't. So in the process of doing that too, we got a construction company that's down the street that's training y'all. So for me, mainly when it comes to our men and our young men, you know, I want to know the programs out there that they can get into, and be honest with you, won't have to come out their pocket with a lot of money. So basically try to get them into these government programs that will teach them like apprenticeship, all this type of stuff. Truck driving, all that. This is what I do, right? Connected. I try to keep a list of at least 3. So that way, if I call you and you might can't let, oh, Lord have mercy. I just thought about it. Oh my God. I'm sitting up here. I got a 23-year-old in here, right? So I'm calling down the Second Chance, you know, because he working part-time. So my thing is we got to get you something full-time. So now I'm calling down Second Chance because I'm trying to see why she hadn't called my guy. Do you know she called us today? She called us. I'm like, when I looked at my phone, it said Second Chance, right? And I knew who it was. It was Lynn in HR. She said, I'm trying to reach, I ain't gonna say his name, but she said his name. And I said, hey, what's up, baby? This Steve. She said, well, as I was saying it, she was like, this Mr. Copeland? I said, yeah, hold on, he right here. He said, go for an interview Thursday, I think, at 1. I said, good, because I know they're going to take him. I'm like, thank you. And I just thought about that talking to y'all. I was like, yes, good kid. And I told him this. I said, get with them. As you begin to work, and we can move you to the next level as far as he'll be making like 13. I'm going to say that, right? So the goal is to get him something where he can make at least over 20. So most of your career-minded jobs, like the apprenticeship programs, truck driving, mechanic, they career-minded stuff, you know, so you can make real good goddamn money. And I would love to see him at 23. If it's no more than starting him out with 40,000 a year or 50, because that's my goal. I will try to get him somewhere where he can make like 40 or 50,000 a year. Then he got a 6-year-old son. He's 23. Got a 16-year-old. I mean, a 3. Sorry, I said a 16-year-old. He got a 6-year-old son, and he was evolved at 16. So you know it's like that son. You know what I mean? So I want the best for him. I want the best for him. I want the best for all my clients. If you making a certain amount, like the minimum wage, My goal is to help you like make double. I made real good money in trucking. I retired 2 years ago. And the reason why I'm saying is I came out in the 10th grade. So don't you never tell me what somebody can't do. Don't. I wouldn't tell my kids something like that. Daddy quit school in the 10th grade. Because I never want them to think it's okay to just quit. They in college. My 21-year-old in college to be a lawyer. Where that come from? The heck is that? My 33-year-old is in school, in nursing school. And when I look at my life, y'all, I'll be like, where the hell do you get this from? But I provided the best for mine. And I'm so glad that they doing what they need to do. Because now, mind you, I come from that dope fiend mom. Dope fiend, alcoholic, drug addicts. When I got clean, that mold was broke. And I'm like, thank you, God. My family, and I'm talking about like my children, my nieces and nephews, because I raised them too. And I love the life they live. They live a total different life compared to us. Sometimes I get real filled, y'all. And I want the best for everybody. But I know everybody don't want the best for themselves. Sometimes I want to give up. I'm like, God, take this from me. I'm tired. But I know I can't stop. I know I can't. Because in my heart and in my spirit, who's really going to fight for our people? And it's not about me taking your money. It's not about me taking like your food stamps. Mm-mm. I don't play that. But I got people that want to put me in that category, and it's okay. Because I know what I'm not. And I feel more sorry for our people than anything else because I'm looking at the big picture. And I'm looking at it's people that get paid to do what you're doing, Steve. Make real good money. I'm not making that. Sometimes I had to use my SSDI check to continue helping to fix stuff around. Or making sure that people, mainly if you knew when you coming in, to make sure you got what you need to hold you over. I ain't got to do that. And then I get people want to sit back and put me in certain categories like other people. I'm like, no, don't you do that to me. That's not how I roll. I want the best for basically everybody. And then I had to realize I ain't Jesus Christ, right? Because I'll step over that line real quick. But then I had to realize it's okay, Steve. Because everybody don't want to do the right things to turn their lives around. I had people, when I first came around, from NA that taught me stuff like they said they're going to love me till I learn to love myself. So I had to learn to love myself. So my goal with other people is to help them learn to love themselves. Can't nobody love you like you. A lot of people's not going to reach out and do the things that you need them to do. I got 2 families that need rooms. I got a mother. She got 2 sons, like 23, 25. She got 2 girls. around 7, 8, somewhere along that line. Then she got a 73-year-old father. So they need a place. She asked me, can she get 2 rooms? I don't want them to crowd up like that. So I'm reaching out to other people. I got another mother with a 7-year-old, a 9-month-old, and a 20-year-old son. They need somewhere to go. So I got 2 people that I'm getting ready to get out of here so that I can replace them. So I love y'all. Spend 2 hours. That was Candy said that just to think about it. She said, you're going to be in there about 2 hours. I love y'all. And I don't know what more to say, y'all. I don't. And I'm telling y'all, sometimes I be tired. And you know how when Jesus was on the cross and he asked the Father to take that cup from him, he didn't want to feel the sting of death, or he took on our sins. And sometimes I be wanting to say, God, please take this from me. I'm just tired. I'm 60 years old now. Never thought I would get, and I ain't mad now, don't get it wrong. It's just some days I'm not there to, I don't, but in my spirit, it's like, I can't stop. As much as I want to give up. And then I want to go ask other people, right, that was on a journey like me, and they stopped because they felt like people was ungrateful and stuff like that. I just want to ask them, how did you do that? And then be all right with it. You got me? I mean, you can walk away, but then I don't want that shame and the guilt because I'm serving God. So I don't want that to beat me up for turning my back. And when I think about it, I'm like, ooh, because I don't want to feel that shame, guilt, embarrassment, or betrayal, or feel like I failed God. I'm like, I don't know about y'all. I said, the spirit will tear me up. That's when you understand the difference between what God is doing in yourself. I hope I help somebody tonight. Because it wasn't my goal to come away for no 2 hours. And I pray somebody needed to hear what I had to say, and just for a word of encouragement. If it wasn't from God, I can tell y'all right now, I'd be dead. I'd be dead. And I told my house tonight, I said, if to me, because of what I know and what I'm doing, if I die today or tomorrow, I'm going to be sitting beside Christ. And I believe that in my spirit. Can't no man touch that. You can't touch it. I love y'all. I'm out. And I need to go find me something to eat. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. 5 o'clock, 5:30, the Couch Conversation Show. Good night.